I'm joined by Frederick Price, who was one of the first reporters on the scene. And Frederick, a lot of tension here because this is one of those alerts that puts a chill into all of us anytime they come across our phone.
Yeah, certainly, Rolly. When I initially got on the scene shortly after 10 o'clock, when those shots were fired before 10 o'clock this morning, it was quite frankly pandemonium. I mean, there was law enforcement agencies. We're talking Little Rock Fire Department, Little Rock Police, North Little Rock Police, Sherwood Police Department, of course, just trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. One thing that caught my attention, though, were the people that were across the street from the hospital. They got notification that the hospital was on lockdown, and they made their way across the street to safety. I talked to a physician that was on the 4th floor who was just feet away from those shots that were fired. Of course, it was devastating for her. It was frightening for her. And I was able to talk to some other people who were across the street who tell me this day is nothing like they ever would have imagined.
I ain't never just really been through nothing like this, so it's kind of scary. I was trying to get to safety.
Wednesday morning started as any other day would for hospital employees at St. Vincent North.
We did our first morning vitals and we were just going through checking out everybody.
Normality quickly turned to fear shortly before 10 a.m. when authorities say Raymond Lovett began shooting at a visitor on the 4th floor.
Like everybody started running.
A hospital employee says she was on the 3rd floor when this happened.
We went in a patient room, we barricaded ourselves in there, we put the bed in front of the door.
At that point, workers and patients like Jeff Russell were notified an active shooter was inside the building.
Somebody came by the room real quick and closed the door and said that we're in lockdown and nobody leave this room.
Russell was on the 1st floor getting an x-ray. Seconds after the lockdown, he says he was able to leave to get to safety.
Came in and said, we've got to get everybody out of the building, follow us, and they took us out a different door.
He describes the scene as frightening.
Yes, it was scary. I was worried about where my wife was because she had been out in the lobby while I was in x-ray.
His sentiments reflect everyone inside as people waited in a state of suspense, not knowing what happens next.
We had to have our hands up. We had to do it one by one. When I ran out, my mom, she was across the street. I was just looking for her. I was on the phone. I was very emotional. I was crying.
Hospital employees tell me they are trained for situations like this, but she says it's much different when the unthinkable actually happens.
But I've never been in an active shooting situation. This was like very scary. It was very real.
And when you hear things like that, Rolly, the first thing that comes to mind is what those people went through inside. They did not know what was going on, what was going to happen next. And my heart goes out to the families that are impacted by this. But man, it's been just a devastating day for the families and even the employees that were involved in such a tragic incident.
And also I'm struck too by, this is a small town hospital. I mean, even though we're just a couple miles away from the biggest city in the state, this is still a local place where a guy goes and gets an x-ray this morning, or somebody might be in the hospital for a couple of days recovering from something, and to have it happen right here, that's part of what makes this so striking and alarming. We're going to talk more about today's situation, as well as more details about what the legal investigation could unfold here in the next couple of weeks. For now, let's send things back down to Little Rock and Faith. Take it away.
An emotional day for everyone involved. Ashley, Frederick, and Rolly, thank you so much for keeping us updated. So to recap, here is what we know right now. A shooting call came in just before 10 a.m. at CHI St. Vincent in Sherwood. Officers found 21-year-old Leighton Whitfield of North Little Rock dead. Shortly after, the suspect Raymond Lovett was taken into custody in Little Rock. Now, police say this was an isolated event, saying Lovett knew Whitfield and was targeted specifically. However, the exact motive is unknown. As for the hospital, CHI says it will be reviewing safety protocols. To listen to the full police briefing and more updates, you can head over to our website, thv11.com.